Hi there, this is Tim from Racing Central, and because it's kind of difficult sometimes for me to find the time to write an article or put a video together, I thought I would do a video that's extremely easy for me to put together, and that's just basically a quick tour of my office and the collection that I keep in my office. I have some other stuff out in the garage, but I'm just going to show you what's in here. I have a long, thin office, and at one end I have this bookshelf. I'll just quickly show you this first. Starts off with the EA Formula One titles. The EA NASCAR titles are here too, along with some motorsport games stuff. Image Space Incorporated there. You can see rFactor, Ratbag with Dirt Track Racing. Netcar Pro over on the right as well. Ubisoft F1 titles. Rally Trophy, Richard Burns Rally. The Real Car Simulator over on the right. That's a cool Japanese title. Each tucked away thing is quite interesting too. You can see Night Driver, Car Precision Racing, Coca Touring Cars, and tucked away on top of that is Swedish Touring Car Championship. The bottom shelf here has quite a varied mix of things. You can see GP500 there as well. I do have a shelf going around basically the whole of the top of the room. You can see Indianapolis 500 Legends, Dirt Daytona, GTA collection, SimCity collection. Most of these are kind of unsorted and mostly not racing games. Screamer 1 and 2 there, which is Milestone's first games. Nomad is a Papyrus-based game. Trans Am 68 to 72, I'm actually writing that article still. It's taken a while. Various other space games, lots and lots of space games, because it's probably my second favorite genre, other than racing sims. This entire top shelf is basically not racing games, but I will show you it anyway. Feel free to comment and kind of ask about any of this stuff. So these are Jeff Crammond Grand Prix 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see Stunt Car Racer and the Revs add-ons and various versions. Papyrus here next to that. You can see this is NASCAR Racing 2003. This I don't think is a Papyrus title. No, it's Indy Net Race Live. NASCAR Legends, Grand Prix Legends, Soda Off-Road Racing, IndyCar Racing 2, NASCAR Racing, all the way back to Indianapolis 500 from 1989. And like on the bookshelf, you know, I've got various things tucked away on the top here. Just an example is this special edition of IndyCar Racing. I assume this was bundled with some hardware of some kind, but I'm not actually sure what the difference is between the special edition and the regular version at this point. I haven't checked yet. So underneath the shelves, or next to the shelves, is the doorway, which I'll move out of the way. That flag there is actually from when I took my oldest daughter to Indianapolis one year. Really cool day. These pictures here are from the ISI office. I claimed them. Over here you can see a few hard drives and then an Intel and a PowerPC mini Mac. I can switch out the audio and the HDMI depending on which system I need to capture from. And underneath that is a retro Pentium 4, I think it is. And I use that for kind of retro builds that don't emulate well. All of my audio goes through this mixer. Everything is really dusty, unfortunately. I have a couple of dogs that basically live in here most of the time with me. The gaming PC actually isn't as dusty, but that's because it's not on as often. This is a Ryzen system. I think it's a 5950, I think. Got a massive heatsink on the CPU. Look at the size of that thing. And this has a 3090 in it. Not a lot of clearance, as you can see, but it fits somehow. And then underneath that is a system that's on all the time. So I quite often am replacing fans in this one. You can see there's one that's burnt out over on the right. This is an Intel system. I think it's an 8700 and an RTX 3080 for the GPU. I try to cable manage as best I can, especially outside the systems, because there's so many wires going everywhere. This HDMI cable here is so I can switch out whatever input I want to give to this splitter here. The splitter goes to the capture card and to the monitor. These are headphones in a dust bag. This is the microphone in a dust bag. And this is a USB switcher surrounded by dust again. So I can keep the keyboard, mouse, and a couple of other devices plugged into whichever system I want to switch it to. That is another USB switcher. And then above my monitor, I have Gilles Villeneuve. And then over here, there's a couple of NASCAR racing peripheral bundles, a joypad and pedals, a Wingman Formula Force GP Grand Prix 1, which reminds me, underneath these systems, I have unboxed wheels and pedals. There's a T2 in there, Grand Prix 1, a joystick. In the left side, much of the same. Back to where I was. Underneath those boxes, I have military simulators, there's flight simulators, tank sims, Command and Conquer, fantastic RTS, Syndicate, Driver, Blade Runner, and then above that I have this screen here, which if I ever get back to live streaming again, I can put the chat or OBS details on that screen while I'm gaming. But most of the time it's spent here, looking at a chair here that my youngest daughter uses. My youngest daughter is autistic, so she spends a lot of time in here. It's the quietest room in the house, and I'll generally put something on this monitor for her to watch, kind of keep her occupied. This is a VIC-20 Commodore 64, 1541 floppy drive, and above that you can see wheels and a pedal set from my Amiga, the Amiga 600 at the back there. It actually came bundled with Jeff Crammond's Formula One Grand Prix, as you can see on the box. And this tote I'll actually go through in a moment. The rat bag diecast there. And the cassette unit for the C64. A couple of things over here on my workbench. This is a Boston cap that did actually belong to John Henry. When I first met him, my kind of goodie bag didn't have a cap in it and everyone else's did, so he actually gave me his off his shelf. Whether anybody needs to believe that, I don't know, but whatever. This is an air gun. I think everybody should use these instead of those cans, because obviously it ends up being cheaper. This is one of my favorite caps, Indianapolis cap, and this is a papyrus cap, which is pretty rare. I didn't make a lot of these. And then over on the left here, I think everybody should have a microfiber cloth and a fishing tackle box full of all their PC screws. So What was in that tote? Well, this is an ATI 3D Rage Pro. It accelerated one racing game as far as I know. I do have the memory upgrade on it. I think it just accelerates Bizarre Creations' Formula One title, which is why I bought it. Eventually I'm going to do an article talking about all of the acceleration options for that title in the same way I did for NASCAR Racing recently. This is a 3DFX Voodoo 3 2000. Aftermarket fan on this one. Really good, obviously, for any Glide title. Really, it'll play them all. I do have a Voodoo 5 as well, though. It actually needs that fan. The chip does actually get really hot. This is my only AGP card, I think. This is a rendition card from QDI, V2200. Rendition V2200, that is. Probably the coolest thing in my collection. It's NVIDIA's first ever graphics card. It's an NVIDIA MV1. An Edge 3D 2120 is the name of the card itself, but it has the NVIDIA chip on it. And it accelerated this version of NASCAR Racing, as you can see there. But unfortunately, it does look worse when it's accelerated with this card than just the SVGA DOS version. And this is a Diamond Stealth 2 S220. This is another rendition card. This one's PCI though. It's V2100 is the rendition chip. And this is probably one of the best GPUs that I can use in my Pentium 4 Windows 98 retro build. It's a GeForce FX 5500. You know, when it's combined with the Pentium 4, it's a really solid system. This is a Matrox M3D, I think. Yes. And this actually doesn't have any output. It's a PowerVR chip, and as you can see, there's no VGA output. This accelerates your existing graphics card in the same way that the early Voodoo 1, Voodoo 2 3DFX cards did. This is this is AGP. This is just a 6000 series ATI. This is one of my coolest cards. It's a Matrox MGA Millennium, and it's the best card that you can use in any system to accelerate DOS-based graphics. And then, objectively, the coolest of them all is the 3DFX Voodoo 5 5500. This is another PCI card, which is actually the more rare version. You'll see a lot more AGP cards than PCI on places like eBay. And this thing obviously screams through any Glide-based title, and it does a decent job with other renderers such as Direct3D as well. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that little look through. Just something to produce, you know, just to get something out there and get a video out there and show people what I'll be featuring on the website and the channel. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.